The WWE Universe was glued to their screens last SmackDown, expecting the usual excitement, but nothing could prepare them for the chaos that Brock Lesnar unleashed upon his shocking return. Lesnar's entrance wasn't just another comeback moment. It was a seismic shift that rippled through the entire blue brand, shaking its very foundations. This was a cold, calculated declaration of war, not just on Seth Rollins, but on the future Rollins has been so aggressively building. From the moment the show kicked off, the energy was unmistakably different. The arena buzzed with a restless tension, an eerie stillness that felt like the calm before a storm. And when Rollins swaggered out, cocky and soaked in adulation, the crowd had no idea just how quickly the night was about to spiral into utter madness. Setting the stage, the calm before the storm. SmackDown's opening moments felt like watching a thriller's opening scene. The tension thick, anticipation high, and the audience holding their collective breath. Rollins, the so-called visionary, basked in chants and boos alike, flaunting his confidence like a badge of honor. The way he owned the spotlight was almost theatrical, as if daring anyone to challenge his place at the top. But then, the unmistakable, bone-chilling roar of Lesnar's music cut through the air like lightning tearing through a dark sky. The crowd erupted, not just in excitement, but in primal shock. Fans jumped to their feet, some with mouths agape, others screaming with sheer disbelief. The energy in the arena morphed instantly from expectant to electric. Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate, had returned, and he wasn't here to play nice. His presence was imposing, almost predatory. Broad shoulders squared, eyes cold and focused, a smirk curling on his lips as if daring anyone to challenge him. The target, Seth Rollins, and the Vision. What made this return especially brutal was who Lesnar targeted. Instead of going straight for Rollins, he did something unexpected. He pointed behind Seth at the Vision. The young star Rollins has been heavily promoting as the future of WWE. For weeks, Rollins had been crafting a narrative, selling the Vision as the next big thing. A generational talent moulded under Rollins' tutelage and brilliance. The idea was that this protégé would carry WWE into a new era once Rollins steps aside. But the moment Brock locked eyes on the Vision, the illusion shattered. There was a stark contrast between the predator and the prey. The Vision, who had been portrayed as a rising colossus, suddenly looked small, vulnerable, and terrified. Lesnar's cold stare sent a clear message. There's only room for one alpha in WWE, and the Vision was about to learn what that really means. The verbal war. Lesnar's rare mic time. Lesnar isn't known for grandstanding or lengthy speeches. His reputation is built on physical dominance, not words. So when he took the microphone, the entire arena leaned in. His voice was low, steady, and dripping with menace as he told Seth Rollins exactly what he thought of his so-called future. "Seth," Lesnar said, his tone like ice sliding across steel, "I don't like people who think they've got visions. I don't like people who think they see the future, because I am the present, and the present doesn't ask. The present takes." Those words hit like a thunderclap. The crowd roared in approval, caught between awe and fear. Rollins, never one to back down from a challenge, tried to retort with snarky remarks, mocking Lesnar's UFC past, calling him a desperate part-timer, an outdated relic. The Vision, still clutching his ribs after a cautious stance, tried to puff out his chest to show courage, but it was clear Lesnar's shadow loomed too large. The carnage begins. A brutal display of dominance. Then, without warning, Lesnar dropped the mic and lunged at the Vision with the ferocity that only he can muster. The Vision tried to fight back, but the sheer force of Lesnar's clothesline folded him in half, the ring shaking under the impact. Rollins, true to form, fled to the outside, shouting threats but refusing to step inside the ring with the beast. It was a classic Seth Rollins move. Talk big, but always calculate the risk. Lesnar's smirk widened as he watched Rollins retreat. Then he turned his attention fully to the Vision, who was struggling to regain composure. With a terrifying calm, Lesnar hoisted the young star up and delivered a devastating F5 smack dab in the middle of the ring. The crowd erupted again, screaming in disbelief at the brutal display of power. The Vision lay broken, gasping for air, while Rollins screamed from outside, helpless and furious. And in a final act of psychological warfare, Lesnar pointed directly at Rollins and said plainly, "This is your future, and your future is finished. The fallout." Fear and fury. Backstage. The scene shifted backstage later in the night, where the aftermath was just as intense as the action in the ring. Seth Rollins paced like a caged lion, furious and embarrassed. The Vision was being tended to by medics, clearly hurting but still conscious. Rollins, never one to show vulnerability publicly, swore revenge, declaring that Lesnar didn't run SmackDown and promising the Vision would rise and take down the Beast next week. But was anyone buying it? The brutal F5 wasn't just a beatdown, it was a statement that Brock Lesnar doesn't just beat opponents, he breaks them. And the Vision looked far from ready to survive a rematch. The WWE Universe was left wondering whether Seth's plan was smoke and mirrors, an illusion propped up by bravado. The toxic mentorship, ego over care. What made the backstage moment even darker was what the cameras caught next. Seth whispered to the Vision, telling him, "This is just a test. You'll prove yourself, you'll destroy him, or you're not what I thought you were." It was a chilling moment, revealing that Seth's support wasn't about protection or genuine mentorship. It was manipulation fueled by ego and desperation. The Vision wasn't being nurtured. He was being pushed into the jaws of the Beast to prove a point. Seth cared less about his protégé's well-being and more about his own legacy and vengeance. Fan reactions. Divided and heated. The WWE Universe exploded online. Social media became a battleground of opinions. Some fans cheered Lesnar's ruthless humbling of Rollins and his protégé, celebrating the return of the Beast incarnate. Others decried WWE for burying young talent, accusing the company of using the Vision as cannon fodder to build Seth's story. Arguments raged about the ethics of the storyline, the treatment of emerging stars, and the ongoing power dynamics within WWE. What united everyone, however, was the undeniable fact that this confrontation had irrevocably changed SmackDown's landscape. Brock Lesnar didn't just show up to play games, he came to hunt the biggest targets. The WWE Universe reacts. Divided and electric social media is ablaze. Hashtags trend, clips replay endlessly, and fan theories flood every corner of the internet. Some declare this the rebirth of the Beast incarnate. Others warn it's the beginning of the end for Seth Rollins. But everyone asks the same question. What happens when the Vision is gone? Because Brock Lesnar isn't stopping. He's not here for a one-off feud or quick spotlight grab. This is a calculated campaign of destruction aimed squarely at Rollins. When the Vision falls, and it seems inevitable, there will be nowhere left for Rollins to hide. The Beast will feast. Final thoughts. A war of eras. This isn't just another rivalry. It's a brutal, visceral war between the Beast of the present and the delusions of a visionary desperate to cement his legacy. Brock Lesnar's hunting instincts are ruthless, and when he sets his sights on a target, the ending is almost always destruction. For Seth Rollins, the road ahead is treacherous. His arrogance, his ego, and his vision have put him directly in the crosshairs of the most dangerous man in WWE history. The WWE Universe will not just watch this story unfold, they'll live every moment of the chaos, shouting, debating, and holding their breath as the future of SmackDown, and perhaps WWE itself, hangs in the balance.